the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Zone time. I'm Hack Jammer.
And I'm Thanos.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Have a happy Halloween, although I got to be 100% honest, Hack, if we're going to be honest about what's going on here. This game for the 49ers, I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know what's going on, why they're choosing, right, to rally behind Kyle Shanahan. This guy is a terrible, terrible coach. He's done awful things all season long. And now the 49ers are going to win football games and keep this guy around and just ruin even further the development of Trey Lance. It's awful.
Yeah, you're right. Whatever you say is the right answer. It always is.
Always good when we're on the same page.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. You're right.
Look, we got a lot of things we got to talk about today, okay? With the 49ers game, Jimmy Garoppolo tried to throw it away as much as humanly possible. Really did, all game long, right? He constantly was throwing it at other people, and guys just happening to get there. Kyle Shanahan had to bail him out with screen passes to Deebo Samuel that Deebo was able to take long yards that probably should have been penalties called on if we're being 100% honest and fair about this team and the evaluation overall. Again, first half offense nowhere to be found. This team got lucky. They truly did, and there's still no hope on the season.
It's all about air yards, Grant, and the ball traveled about 15 air yards horizontally to Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then Deebo made a great play. If he was an extreme player, though, he would have got out at got the end of the end zone.
Can we be honest, though? Can we be honest? Hack, we have to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Look, they finally got the ball to Brandon Aiyuk consistently, and look what happens when you get the ball to Brandon Aiyuk. Nothing but good things happen when you get the ball to Brandon Aiyuk.
I got to break character on the J. Ellie, Andy Ant Reed.
Andy Ant Reed, indeed. Look, Cutback crew.
Yeah.
Let's get out of character for a second, a little bit, and get excited. Get freaking excited. It's a San Francisco 49ers win. Look at Fred Warner over there doing his business, doing his thing. The 40 freaking Niners got a big fat W.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
I'm super jacked and hyped for this game. And how are you feeling about all of this? I mean, again, the season's over. The season's over. Just wrap it up. It's done. We're over. We're finished. We got it right. We got to just blow it all up, man. You got to blow it up and focus for next season. This win now puts you at 3-4. The Arizona Cardinals had a big loss this week and are definitely going to want to get a win this next week, but they're coming home to San Francisco, and the Niners offense is now rolling. Dude, how are you feeling, and what is now? What now? What's next for San Francisco?
To be honest with you, this game was interesting because I think in the first half it was a little frustrating at times. Number one, you missed the opening, field goal that you had the opportunity you had for the 48-yarder from Joey Sly, and it seemed like the offense was moving, but only moving to a certain point, right? They kept stalling and stalling and stalling, and then the 49ers' defensive philosophy of sit back and let Justin Fields complete passes underneath seemed to be somewhat frustrating. But in the second half, Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo, and you could tell Jimmy Garoppolo from the beginning was taking hold of what was going on. He was out there. He was yelling at people when they were making mistakes. He looked very Tom Brady-ish in how he was handling people on the field, yelling at them when they were in the wrong spots, taking control of the team. And he really got out there and executed in the second half. And it was like old times. I mean, Kyle was dialing up the plays. They were executing. Elijah Mitchell looked fantastic, especially on the outside where he was making great reads. The blocking was there. And a lot of the mistakes went away, right, in the second half. You didn't see the holding calls. You didn't see those kind of penalties. And the 49ers, took care of business. And it was a fun game to watch, especially in the second half. I was actually encouraged so much that I was ready for them to completely throw it with 2 minutes left and just let Jimmy get another touchdown. Brandon Aiyuk came back on the scene today. Deebo Samuel did what Deebo Samuel does. And the whole time, all I'm thinking is next week against Arizona, George Kittle's going to be back too.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And I mean, can we be, I got to stay in character. I forgot I have the SI scene up here. Look,
just break character.
Look, I can't do it. Right? We have to be honest, right? Even if George Kittle comes back, this team wasn't consistent. I'm joking. This team was absolutely fantastic in the second half. The second half was absolutely phenomenal. And, all the dumb faces out there can say whatever they want about this team and what's going on with the execution. The execution was inconsistent in the first half, but what did I say all week long, right? What did we talk about, and what did I say? This team doesn't need 4 quarters of execution right now. We haven't even gotten close to getting like a full quarter of execution. We just need to take the next step, right? Give me a little bit of execution and give me some consistency, either early and then late, or late, whatever it is. Give me 2 quarters of execution. Guess what we got in the second half, Ant? We got 2 big, fat quarters of execution from start to finish. Running the ball, amazing with Elijah Mitchell. Pass game, phenomenal. Guys catching screen passes, Ant. Who would have thunk it?
Well, in the second half.
We catch a screen pass in the second half, right? And what happens? A big, huge, fat play. How many times have we said on film that, man, there's something there if we can catch some of these screen passes when Kyle's dialing them up there on the outside? There's really something there. The blocking scheme's there. Everyone's in the right spot. If we catch some of these, we can turn it into a big play. The best part is you ran it on back-to-back situations, right? You ran it on the second down play that ends up getting the block in the back by Kyle Juszczyk, because Kyle Juszczyk just doesn't get his head in front.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if he gets his head in front, they're not throwing that flag. And he probably actually makes a better block, and Brandon's able to break it up the seam. But he doesn't have a great angle. Then he turns around on the very next play and runs essentially a very similar screen look to Debo on the other side. Everyone makes their blocks, and Debo gets about 1/2 inch of a yard away. And the fact that touchdown, that rushing touchdown Jimmy scores on that drive is supposed to actually be, right, a little jet touch pass or a jet sweep to Debo Samuel. I think it was, dude.
Was it?
You don't think so?
I'm not convinced that Debo Samuel wasn't supposed to be a lead blocker right there.
Oh, maybe he was.
For Jimmy Garoppolo on a student body left.
Whoa, T.O., hold on a second. Mitchell is money, Raheem who? Don't get there.
Oof.
Don't
You know what? You know what though? Let's give the young guy props though. We've been talking about him for a while now. We've been impressed with Mitchell, and he proved it again. I mean, he really did prove it again. He has been fantastic in his reads and his vision. The only thing he lacks compared to Raheem Mostert is the elite speed.
That's it.
Because Raheem would have broke a couple of these, like the one where Elijah Mitchell's working his way, down the field. That one probably would have been a touchdown just because of how fast Mostert is. But phenomenal running. I mean, for a rookie running back, he's developing very nice. He is, a absolute gem in this draft, and the 49ers got a good one. So yeah, you can start feeling confident about the running back room. So yeah, John Lynch and them have struck gold again because he's looking very, very good, and I'm looking forward to what he can do in the rest of the season. He's just going to get more comfortable, but he runs through holes that are this big.
Dude, he sees holes that he has no business seeing right now as a rookie. Stuff that most guys don't notice, they don't realize, they stutter, they wait a little bit, and then they get popped in a hole, or just push forward into a guy right for a yard or two. He's able to sneak through and fight for 4, fight for 3, fight for 5 in those situations. It's just absolutely nuts. Dude, think about the one in the end zone, right? The goal line, where he just bullies through right into the group, finds the little seam, the little sliver, bullies through, able to get himself a little bit of a push, and then everyone else funnels in and helps get him in the rest of the way.
Whoa, everybody else or James Garoppolo.
At the very end, pushing through.
That last push is James Garoppolo.
It is, bro. It's all James.
It made me laugh when I seen him come in late. That was really funny. And yes, BV50, Fred Warner is a tough dude, because when I saw him get hit, I was watching the game with my dad, and as I saw him get hit, I literally I'm not even as upset that Justin Fields scores a touchdown as I am that I believe Fred Warner just got hurt. Because I seen him get hit by Peters, and I'm like, oh no, Fred's going to be down, and I'm just irritated and upset. But Fred is just that guy, and he's tough, and he gets up, and that's one of the reasons he's such a great linebacker is he plays every single game. And linebacker was an issue in this game. Aziz is not, able to play, and you could tell Flanagan Fowles or Flanagan Fowles,
however,
who's going to pronounce it at this point.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you saw the second half adjustment. They moved him to the line of scrimmage and had him out there in case Justin Fields tried to bootleg, because no. He's not good for run fits. If this guy's going to have to play significant downs for the 49ers, we're going to be in trouble. Hopefully next week Aziz is back. Hopefully next week Dre Greenlaw's back.
We get the whole linebacking core back potentially.
Might be just in time because Jimmy Ward's out with the quad, so we don't know how long Jimmy's going to be out.
You're right there. Shooter 37 scout. Excuse me. How about Jimmy with the 2 rushing TDs? Shooter, huge. Actually, hold on. Let me hold on. You have to run the ball on the ground with Jimmy Garoppolo because he just can't throw the football. We all know this.
You went back to Grant.
Imagine how great this offense and this team will be once you're actually able to get Trey Lance out there. This was Kyle Shanahan sending a message today that he doesn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo with his arm, and he barely trusts him with his feet.
And then I seen that Brad Jones is asking, wasn't an illegal blindside hit? The reason it's not is because Peters actually hits him with a forearm. And when you use your hands and body like this in your hands, it's a legal block. If you would have hit him with a shoulder, his head, it would have been a penalty. Correct. Because he uses his hands, it's legal. That's why he got away with it. But it's very, very frustrating for sure.
Definitely frustrating indeed, and extremely, extremely frustrating. But here's the good news. As frustrated as I was with this defense early in the game in terms of just letting Fields take the underneath, let him just moving the ball down the football field, it was a plan. It was a plan of the 49ers to, hey, you know what? We're going to let you have the underneath. We're going to let you try and diagnose, find the areas you need to find. We're limited at the running back. We're limited at the linebacking room. We're limited up front right now with the guys we have, and Givens having to step back up and step back in. We did see a lot more Eric Armstead on the interior on some rundowns as well. Samson Ebukam stepped up in a big way, especially late in this football game. They struggled early with the boot actions. They crashed down really hard on the run.
They did.
And it was a game plan of the Bears to get those boot actions and get Justin Fields out in space and give him opportunities to utilize his feet. You know what? As frustrating as that first half was in terms of them just not being able to contain, get off the field on third downs, they stepped up when they needed to in the red zone. They made them kick field goals more often than they scored touchdowns. And they were just buying time for this offense to get going. You and I have been saying this. If the offense can get going, you can find a way to extend drives, keep the defense off the football field for extended periods of time, and just start executing on certain downs and distances when you need to. Team's going to be just fine. I mean, 204 yards of offense in the first half. We got out of that first half. I looked at Megan. I was just like, you telling me we have 204 yards of offense and we're losing the time of possession battle and we're down in this football game? It doesn't make any sense. It's because when we have to extend drives, after we get big plays, when we need to extend drives, we just weren't. Second half, all of that gets course corrected. Guys are making the blocks they need to. Guys are making the plays when they need to. The drops disappear in the second half of this football game. And like you talked about earlier, I loved the fire from Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy who came into this game. He is fully 100,000% aware of what is at stake for him right now, what's at stake for this football team, and a little fire, right? I didn't see him, no screaming and ripping at guys like, F you, what the, or you, no, none of that Tom Brady stuff. A little bit different energy, right? Hey, get there. You got to beat it. Hey, we can do that. Let's go. Come on, focus in, dial in. I'll get you the ball, make the plays you need to. And for the first time all season, I saw Brandon Aiyuk toast somebody in one-on-one coverage in the red zone. Saw him toast a dude on a 2-point conversion.
I hope you played him in fantasy.
I did play him in fantasy. I told you I was good. The minute you said it, I was like, if Ant's feeling that confident about it, and you don't ever put stuff out there like that often. When you do,
not when I say it's going to be a spoiler.
Correct.
That's bold is another story.
That's different. Yeah, that's different. While that's bold, different because we're trying to go a little bit over the top. But when you literally, genuinely are like, hey, we've been watching the film. The comment came out this week. Watching the film, I think this is an opportunity. Yeah. I think this is going to be Brandon's time. And you know what? Brandon did exactly what he needed to do. The big punt return as well today.
Yeah, had a good punt return. He
had a couple nice one really great one, and a couple other ones that were solid.
You know why? He caught the ball.
Didn't let anything touch the ground. It's crazy. And then he wins. He wins in that 2-point conversion. Bad. That's the same. That slant last year was a slant that I talked about being one of my favorite routes that he ran last year against the Buffalo Bills out in open field on the third down situation. He runs almost the same exact route, gets a similar look, and gets inside. He's starting to come back into form.
Yeah, think about the looks they created for him. Yeah, the 2-point conversion. They put 4 receivers to the side. He's on the inside, all the way on the inside. He has one-on-one. He goes to the middle of the field. There's no one there. Completely spread out. Great, design, scheme, everything from Kyle Shanahan. You had the deep one down the sideline on the second play of the game where they're just a little bit off, him and Jimmy.
Just a smidge.
But he gets there. Then you got the other one, if you think about when they're going for another touchdown. They ran, I think it was one of the running backs in motion. And so you have one-on-one on the outside, and he runs a slant. The corner makes a great play, and he knocks the ball away. But all design plays to get Brandon Aiyuk the football. And that was what I thought, is that they were going to make that concerted effort. Yes, things that are said in the media by John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan do have meaning. And when you say somebody has had second, the sophomore struggles, and it was a unified message, it meant they expected somebody to come out of that. So they wanted to set the tone that this is what's going on, and then that there was going to be an improvement, that there was going to be an overcoming. This was the overcoming of Brandon Aiyuk. You could tell early in this game when they got him the screen pass and they got him involved in this game plan, even when he was making blocks, he was running off afterwards excited about the blocks.
Oh, dude, the big Elijah Mitchell at the end. He did the Naruto run into the end zone.
He's completely engaged in what's going on in the game. That is somebody that's bought in. None of the outside noise of what they're saying is hindering him. In fact, I think it's actually advancing him.
Yep.
So they know what they're doing as far as dealing with him and what things he needs to develop.
You mean to tell me, Ant, that my alter ego Thanos here that I am currently portraying, and a lot of these media personalities and people talking about how Kyle Shanahan's ruining the development of Brandon Aiyuk, and John Lynch ruining the development of Brandon Aiyuk, and Ayuk's a bust, Kinlaw's a bust, all of it was just a little bit premature. I mean, the people telling me that the season's over because we're 2-4 and we've played inconsistent dog duty, and especially last week. Last week hurt a lot because everyone felt like it was a must win, and if you don't win, the season's over. You and I kept saying the season's not over, but the season's definitely, the path's harder. Well, we're on the hard path. We chose the hard path with the way that we played, and today, could it have been any more difficult for the San Francisco 49ers? Mark Graves brought up earlier, he said, 7 of 9 third down conversions for the Bears. Mark, you're not wrong. You're playing without Dre Greenlaw. You're playing without Javon Kinlaw. You're playing without Maurice Hurst. You're playing without Jaquiski Tartt. You're playing without Azeez Al-Shaair. You end up not playing. End up playing the second half without Jimmy Ward. I mean, come on. I mean, if we're being honest, the Bears offense should have had success today, and they had minuscule amounts of success today. I know they put up a lot of points, but they didn't toast us with the pass game. Where did they hurt us? With the run game. The run game is what hurt us, whether that was field on boots, whether that was interior running, moving the pile and cutback lanes, opening up for Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert did a great job running the football, being patient, developing and improving on those things. If you're the 49ers right now, your D-line is going to struggle right now as it finds itself without Javon Kinlaw, without Maurice Hurst. But what can save some of that, right, is your run fits with your linebacker play. You were missing a key piece already in Azeez Al-Shaair. You're still without Dre Greenlaw. Fred Warner and Marcel Harris, that's a big question mark. Hufanga at times stepped up big. Jimmy Ward stepped up big. There was a lot of good things, Ant, that happened today despite the missing pieces. And we got a new member of the community right here, a new Cutback Crew community member. That's Cyrus Nasua Manue. I'm hoping I said that right. I hope I said that right.
If we didn't, tell us phonetically how to say it. We'll get it right, Cyrus. Thank you so much for joining the Cutback Crew.
Welcome.
We really appreciate it.
I mean, super appreciate it. But this team, they should have had success. The Bears offense should have been able to find some area to attack the 49ers today, and they did. That run game got them going early. They converted on third and short situations, third and mediums, which they needed to do, but they didn't do enough. They didn't punch the ball in when they needed to. They didn't make the 49ers pay for those long drives. They let us skate through and skate by it, and I think a part of that was the plan, right? Give them the underneath, and then once we get into the short area of the field, well, you can't take the top off anymore, so now we're going to take all those things away and see what happens.
There was a couple interesting things, too, I saw in this game. Number one, they started Samson Ebukam at defensive end.
It's true.
And they put Armstead inside, playing the 3-tech. And the other thing that I noticed was later in the game, when they would slide Armstead back out at times, because Jordan Willis got some snaps today as he was developing, or getting back in shape, they moved Arden Key inside.
It did.
So could we see Arden Key playing some inside, him as a defensive tackle?
As long as he's not going to get hand to face penalties, we're good.
That was a really bad hands in the face penalty.
Terrible.
That was awful. But Ebukam got a sack today on the T stunt where it's him and Arden Key that do the stunt.
It's true.
So that is big time production from that second level of linemen. So I'm excited about that potential there. Now, I did think the linemen played pretty good in run fits. I thought the linebackers struggled mightily, but that's not something that we have to worry about too long because Azeez will be back, Dre Greenlaw's going to be back, and that's going to be pretty nice. And Marcel Harris is doing the best he absolutely can. I can't say enough about that guy. I've been critical of him playing safety in the past, but him at linebacker, he's doing his best. He's getting in there with that club and knocking people down. He had a sack on Justin Fields today. So, yeah, I think that we have a few areas we still need to work out. People are very frustrated with Josh Norman. Hey, guess what? Josh Norman's going to get them penalties. I mean, that's what Josh Norman's going to do all year. You're going to live with them. He did not get pass interference calls this time. He got holding. He got stuff like that. He's grabby. This is what he does. So, I mean, if we want to be hypercritical of penalties, just get used to it. Josh Norman's going to get those. He's also going to get you the opportunities to put the ball on the ground. You saw it twice. He created possible fumble opportunities, comes up with the interception at the end. So he's one of those guys that can create opportunities for you. So it's give and take. You want the 5-10 yard penalties for illegal contact, that kind of thing. But the one thing I didn't like is there was a couple of times he got beat today.
Yes.
There was a couple scenarios where he got beat. Now the one where Fields rolls to the left, gets outside of Bosa, and just makes a fantastic throw. He tried to undercut that route. I'm not going to hate on that one, but there were some other ones where he got beat. So there's a little bit of questions there, but Mosley didn't have his best game either. So good thing you're not arguing that with Jason on face-off compared to last week. It'd have been a little bit of a tougher argument.
A little bit of a tougher argument, and in all honesty, I wasn't going to that wouldn't be one that I'm sitting here going, hey, you know what? Yeah, Jason, you're wrong here. I'm completely right on this. Caleb brought up earlier, he said, how great is it going to be for us to break down film, finally get to break down film of a win, because we haven't gotten to yet.
Now I'm excited to break down a second half.
Oh, 100%.
It's like
usually what happens, right, is we break down the first half and you already see all the mistakes mounting and you know where it leads and you're like, oh man, this is just going to be, it's a rough, you don't want to. Luckily last week, that second half of that game flew by. Even when we're doing the breakdown, we're like, oh man, it's only going to be like 50 minutes. That's one of the shorter ones we've ever done. This is going to be a good one, a deep dive over on Patreon this week as the film comes out and is ready to go, because there's so many positive things to take from it. All of the bad things, I felt in the first half, I actually for the first time saw like one bad play call from Kyle Shanahan. And the best part about the one bad play call I saw live is it ends up actually being Brandon Aiyuk scrambling to get himself open. Everything is accounted for. Jimmy breaks a pocket. Brandon breaks off of his slant route, gets to the outside. Jimmy's looking inside, starts to come outside and sees Brandon, tracks him, gets it to him on the line, and then Brandon is able to get upfield and get the first down.
This was 2017 Jimmy.
100%.
Except full control of the offense.
100%.
He was getting outside the pocket. He was willing to scramble. He was throwing on the run and accurate. The one bad pass, and I mean, people horrifically said he was throwing it to the defender. Juwan Jennings was held.
Hard.
What was it last week? Jimmy needs to throw with anticipation.
Jimmy throws
with anticipation this time. The receiver gets held, and it's Jimmy's fault. What is it, people? What do you want from Jimmy Garoppolo? In this game, there could be no criticizing his play. I thought he played fantastic. We're going cone again. I can feel it.
Jimmy Garoppolo needs to just not be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. It's time to give up on the season. Even though we're 3-4, we're definitely only one game out of the playoff spots. Doesn't matter. Kyle Shanahan, gotta go. Jimmy Garoppolo, gotta go. Get somebody in there who knows what to do with Trey Lance. Otherwise, season's over. Season's over. It's just that simple. If you don't want to realize it.
Oh, you're back to normal. You got it.
Anytime the SI is behind me, I feel it flowing through my veins.
I'm already tired of the SI.
Well, see, every time the SI pops up, and every time it pops up, the gauntlet starts flashing. It starts glowing, and I'm like, oh, I can feel the Grant cone flowing
through.
The
power.
I feel it. I feel like I have control over the organization, the team, and then I'm starting a movement. And then I realize, very quickly that I'm not actually Grant Cohn. It's just Halloween, and we're having a good time. But look, I'm
Bingo, long-time Niner fan. That's how I root too. Everyone, if they're winning in the division, beat everyone else. So that way the 49ers can keep closing the gap on the teams that are underneath the division winners.
100%. If the Arizona Cardinals lose to us, right, the Rams lose to us twice, if those are their only losses the rest of the season in the NFC West is to the 49ers, and they're smacking everybody else, then the 49ers are going to have a chance, right, you're going to make the playoffs easily. You're 100% going to. Grant, go home and drink your wine. Trying.
Well, we are from wine country.
That's true. We are from wine country. There's lots of grapes around us.
There is.
The grapes of wrath. Grant Cohn's wrath. Oh man. Look, this is just great. It was exactly what needed to happen. It's the thing that we've been talking about now for weeks with this football team. You're a player or two away.
Well, what happened in the second half is what I expected to happen in the first half.
Yes.
I expected them to be like boom, 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 boom on offense. If you remember, I even said I thought this could be a 30-point game, and I know you were thinking the same way, that we thought this could be a 30-point game for the Niners, and it was.
I wasn't going to pick 30 points because I wanted them to prove it to me. That's why I went with my prediction, which was like, 21-13?
I went 24.
Yeah,
and so we were pretty close, but we said this is a possible 30-point game, and it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that the offense just boom, boom, boom. Think about that. The only time they don't score the touchdown is when they kick the field goal, and we know they're being conservative.
Yeah.
They had the possibility to go 4 straight touchdowns in the second half. Well, you can roll that into the next week now. Correct. Momentum is a real thing.
So look, though, the Niners win this game by 11. If Joey Slye doesn't miss a 48-yard field goal, which we know he can make, he shouldn't have pushed it right, but he does, right? If he doesn't miss that field goal, you're looking at a potential 14 or 15-point win for San Francisco if he doesn't miss the extra point too. And this is a game where you won essentially by 2 touchdowns. You did the things that you were supposed to do.
Oh, yeah.
You had some miscues and things of that nature. This is a solid win for this team. I know it doesn't, for some people, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we escaped with a W.
Hey, that's fine.
The second half, though, is what's important. How this game finished is far more important than how this game started, because how this game started was what we've seen from this team throughout the season, and how they finished is something that we have not seen from this team this year. Consistent moving the ball, controlling and dictating the pace of the game. You know, even when the defense is giving up touchdown drives or giving up scoring drives, the offense coming out and punching a team right in the mouth. I mean, this was a team that was defensively only missing Khalil Mack. And yes, that is a big freaking deal, only missing Khalil Mack in the passing game and the passing attack. But for the most part, right, the run game was dialed in. They were doing the things they needed to do. Offensively, in the pass game, you had guys winning one-on-one and beating matchups when they were supposed to, and you had guys executing out in space. You can only play the person in front of you. You can only play the team in front of you. And that's what we have going forward, right? The Arizona Cardinals, no J.J. Watt. Oh, we're not playing them at 100%. All we can do is play what we have in front of us,
We're
right?
not 100%.
Exactly. It's not about what another team has or does not have. All that matters is who's in front of us, what are they bringing to the table, and how can we execute and take advantage of it. The 49ers did that today. They can do that next week. They can do that the following week against the Rams, who are rolling and steamrolling right now. But they have a very easy cupcake schedule these last few weeks. It's a little bit tougher for them next week, and then they got San Francisco after that, who, if you can find a way to get this W against the Arizona Cardinals, which we all believe they can do, you got 2 straight going into a division opponent, right? Those games are typically close, and it's a situation where you have 2 head coaches who know each other very, very, very well. And anything can happen.
One of the biggest misconceptions is which team are you going to play? You know, who's coming up? Oh, we got the Rams. They're playing good. It's about matchups. It's how does this team match up with that team? But when it comes down to it, that's really what it is. And it's about execution. And in this game, think about it, the 49ers in the second half barely had any third downs.
Yeah.
When you're executing, that's what the 49ers used to do. That's 2019 49ers offense. When you're just executing so well on first and second down. There was one part in this game where he went pass to Warner, first down. Pass to Juszczyk, first down. Run outside to Elijah Mitchell, first down. It's like you were just like boom, boom, boom. And when you have that kind of execution, your offense gets rolling, your offense gets in a rhythm. There was no point in this game where I was ever concerned that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't going to complete a pass. I had that much faith in him. And that doesn't happen very often because I think since Jeff Garcia got there, I've been worried about, this one could be a pick. It's just the negative part of me. But for some reason, it felt like Jimmy was on today. And I had confidence in Jimmy that he could execute at a high level. And he did. And so the offense really flowed and moved. But it was Kyle's play calling as well. He saw that he had an advantage on the outside. He got there. We're still having some issues with Daniel Brunskill.
Yes.
Brunskill missed some especially when they were trying to seal it, at the point of attack.
Yeah.
And also pulling. He's just not getting enough push right now on that end guy. The end guy's able to collapse it in. There's a couple times Elijah Mitchell runs up the middle. You're like, man, why didn't what's Elijah Mitchell looking at? And then you see it from the end zone angle. You're like, if Brunskill would have kicked him out Elijah Mitchell would have been able to squeeze through and it would have been a positive gain. You understand what Kyle sees. You understand what Mike McDaniel sees, what Elijah Mitchell sees. What you don't understand is why Daniel Brunskill is not getting the job done. So he needs to get it done. But if he's still the best option, you still have to play him right now.
Correct. You have to. And this is why you've heard Lynch and Shanahan continually talk about specifically, right, the guys behind him who are going to play a role they believe at some point. Because what Daniel Brunskill did early in the season, right, preseason training camp, was set the standard in terms of what the starter needs to look like and what the starter can do. That's what we saw all training camp. And what Daniel Brunskill hasn't done since then, since he separated and created that wide gap, is widen that gap any further. He has not elevated his play even more and taken the gap between him, Aaron Banks, Jalen Moore, whoever you want to put there at the right guard spot, and widen it. All he's done is given them time to close it down. And you keep hearing these comments week in, week out now from guys like Lynch, from guys like Kyle, from guys like Alex Mack, Trent Williams, talking about how at some point they're going to have to step up and play a role. Everyone knows it's just a matter of time until they close that gap down because Daniel Brunskill is who Daniel Brunskill is. That's just the reality of the situation. Right now, though, gives you the best option to win. 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, next season, probably won't be the case.
Yeah, I think so. At some point, Aaron Banks is going to take over because those type of physicality issues are not the issues. It's the lateral movement thing. Daly brings up a good point about Monica and the gambling. She does kill it. So, that is something that she does. She shares stuff in Discord all the time. So 100%, if you're interested in that, you can check that out. But yeah, I think that the 49ers, the offensive line questions are real, but I thought Mac played well today. I thought Trent Williams. Now, I really need to break down the all-22 because we get the different angles and all that. But I thought that overall the offensive line gave Jimmy Garoppolo a lot of time. Jimmy Garoppolo moved well in the pocket. Jimmy Garoppolo got outside the pocket, extended plays, was willing to scramble when needed, threw good on the run. So those are all good things. But it was a full offensive, onslaught, because you've got the run game going with the pass game.
True.
And there was a lot of straight dropbacks. It wasn't all play action today. So
also true.
Big ups for Kyle Shanahan on the game plan. They executed again, but this time they executed compared to what they've been doing in the past. That's good. You got to take care of take advantage of the Bears. They did. Robert Quinn was out there. He was there. So the only one they were really missing was Khalil, which is a big miss.
We're not. Yeah, I'm not. Neither one of us is saying it's not a big deal, right? But the 49ers are missing significantly more than just one key piece. You have Jason Verrett out, Jaquiski Tart out, Dre Greenlaw out, Kinlaw out, Maurice Hurst out. I mean, the 49ers are missing significantly more pieces than the Chicago Bears defense. When Aziz and, D Ford out.
I mean, forgot about D.
You have so many guys that were out this game. When I went to this game, and my brother and I were talking last night, we did a fun little escape room down in Sacramento. We get done with the game, and he's like, he looks at me, he's like, so what about tomorrow? Like, Aziz? D Ford? He's like, can we survive that? And I was like, we have to. There's no choice. You have to survive it. It's not going to be easy, though. Like, I was feeling comfortable going to this week that if we get Aziz, this could be a game where we could blow this football team out. Like, we could actually get it done. No Aziz Al-Shaair. There is no blowouts. There's no blowing this football team out because I don't truly believe we're going to be able to get enough stops to be able to just run this thing up. Even if you get a big lead at some point, the holes will start to show itself because there's no Aziz Al-Shaair, no Greenlaw. I was like, so it's going to come down to the offense. He looked at me, took a deep breath, and he goes, okay. And I was like, they can do it. They can definitely do it. We've been watching that film. Yeah. We know they can do it. We know they were on the cusp. Maybe today is the turning point. Maybe they got over that hill, right? They got over that hump, that mental hurdle. And the chat's been saying it, and you mentioned it and brought it up as well. Jimmy Garoppolo looked like the old Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
He looked confident, looked comfortable, he looked swaggy. The 49ers need to fly all 100 of his family members out to every single game from now on.
Why? They're paying him $25 million. He can fly them to every single game.
True. He needs to fly them out to every single game. I don't know what you did. I don't know what happened, but you found the formula for Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Stick with it.
Yeah, the Trey Lance offense. How about that, huh? The guts of Kyle Shanahan. You get down there inside the red zone, and he runs a read option, and absolutely no one believes it. And that's what we've been saying. It's in the offense, right? It's been in the offense. And he calls the perfect call, the read option to Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy makes a great read, runs it in.
If it was Trey Lance, he never would have been.
I don't want to soil that great play, but Ross Dwelley, can you please block somebody?
There's a reason he's tied into. Hold on. Ross Dwelley is getting unnecessary hate from the 49ers cutback and from just Kyle Shanahan. Charlie Warner has no business whatsoever being tied into. He doesn't make any great blocks.
Charlie Warner's been looking pretty good.
Dude, he looks phenomenal. Charlie Warner. It's 100%. He's back with oh my T.O.
TR.
Oh my.
Name drop.
Look, it's very obvious to me that Charlie Warner has now elevated to tight end 2 status.
Yeah.
He started. I loved the graphic at the start of the game that had Ross Dwelley's name as Charlie Warner is going in motion to set up on the outside to block. And I'm like, yeah, no, he's not tight end 2 no more, guys.
No.
Someone update the roster over there. Yeah. Charlie Warner is officially tight end 2. This was a much better game from him, consistency-wise. Looking forward to see what PFF rates him this week, Ant, because they've been giving him a lot of slander and a lot of hate. He's been missing some opportunities, but he's been getting better each and every week. Oh, my.
Yeah, the 49ers, Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelley situation was kind of polarizing during the training camp.
It's true.
But Warner was blocking great. There's the one run play where they're running outside, and you see Warner is engaged with somebody, and you see Juszczyk come and absolutely annihilate the guy, and Warner goes down with the guy. Warner gets up, gets in front of Elijah Mitchell, and goes and blocks again. that effort is that George Kittle-esque, contagious type of blocking style and physical nature. I loved it. And so, Charlie Warner's been growing on me all season. The blocking, I thought last year we were going to get a little bit better blocking, but he's definitely morphing into that guy this year. The pass receiving skills are developing. He's never going to be dynamic, like George Kittle, but now I'm starting to feel more confident in him when in run fits and stuff when George isn't in there.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of this now when Kittle is back as well, because it gives you more options and more ways to attack and things to do with this run game and run fits and run scenarios and your looks. You can utilize him maybe more as a blocker and get Juszczyk out in the flats and doing things. Man, I'll tell you what, I was just overall top to bottom. This was wonderful. And shout out to Ben Camper was up here a little bit earlier. He's talking about how excited he is tomorrow for us to be on his pod and talking this 49ers win. It's a good week. It's a good week to do it.
It's a good week to go on.
It's absolutely a good week to go on. We're both excited for this tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast. But I'll just, if I can wrap up my emotions and feelings and all of this, it's just great to see this team finally execute, finally put the things together that we have both known is possible. Kyle Shanahan has known this is possible. This team has known it was possible. And now that you've actually gone out and done it, you've executed it right, you've gotten over that mental hurdle of, can we overcome this? Can we actually do this? We believe we can, but can we actually go out and do it when it matters, when it counts? Now that you've finally accomplished that, it opens up the door and the avenue to attack now in more aggressive and more assertive ways. And like you said, right, Kyle Shanahan didn't hold anything back today. He's not holding anything back the rest of the season. There's no more saving anything. There's no more saving looks for later in the season or for the playoffs. Get yourselves there, boys. Every game matters. Every game is the most important game. One game at a time, one step at a time. And now you get to turn your attention to this Arizona Cardinals team and try and give them a second straight loss.
Yeah, and there's a blueprint to beat Arizona. You discovered it. That's the thing. The 49ers put together a blueprint that could have beat Arizona. They weren't able to get it all the way done because of execution and other issues. But you're about to get some guys back from health. Jordan Wilson will be another week advanced. I think that we're going to see some looks now, especially against a team like, this with a lot of speed, Arizona, where you get some of these quicker guys on the inside. Aiyuk, Arden Key, those guys playing inside. Armstead as well. You get D Ford back. So it'll be interesting how they play this defensively. If they just duplicate what they did last time against Arizona and they hold Arizona anywhere near 17 to 24 points, they have an opportunity to win the game. So that's the key. Let's see if they can do it. But I like the improvement, and just getting in a rhythm in the second half is going to do so much. You just haven't been able to get that rhythm. You get that rhythm on offense. Now you can, you know how it feels, you know how it looks, and now you just turn that into the next game.
100%. You have to. You have to do that. You have to find a way to just keep building and keep turning that momentum over. And you're right. The 49ers are going to get pieces back now too. This Arizona game, you're going to start to get some pieces back into the fold, whether that's George Kittle, whether that is Dre Greenlaw, hopefully, whether that's Azeez Al-Shaair, D Ford. Hopefully all those guys are able to come back into the mix, into the fold with this group. And you go from right now, which was you went into this game very severely handicapped in terms of the ways you can attack it defensively and what you can stop and what you can take away, to now the possibilities are wide open again for this team.
Yeah, and I seen, let's see, Jay Ellie asked about Hurst. I don't think so. They're just not putting Hurst on the IR because if they do, I believe he's lost for the season. But he was supposed to be out 4 to 8 weeks. So you're talking a couple more weeks for Hurst at the minimum.
Yeah.
And then I don't know about Jaquiski Tartt's status. We know Tartt was running at practice this week a little bit, doing some stuff.
They didn't put him on IR either.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming with Tartt, they're hoping that it can be next week or the week after.
They might really be hoping because
Jimmy Ward with the quad.
Jimmy Ward with the quad. We don't know what that's going to be. Maybe it was them just being careful with Jimmy.
Could have been.
We'll see though. Maybe it's a contusion, something he's able to bounce back from. I'm not sure. But that makes me a little worried on the back end going against the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't know why you would say that, man. Why would you say that? It's not like they have a really solid passing attack.
Hufanga did play well. Hufanga had a great game.
Here. Fear not the ravings of the rant clone. The rant clone. Oh, is that me? Am I the rant clone?
You're rant clone.
I'm rant clone. I'm Thanos rant clone.
Yeah. I like it too.
I like it. Absolutely. Hope that Kittle is back next week. Yeah.
I think he is.
Agreed. Samson, I don't think you have anything to worry about there. My fantasy team my fantasy team is also hoping that George Kittle comes back.
Did they put Tartt on IR? I didn't think they actually put him on IR.
I don't believe they did.
Yeah.
He's on short-term IR. I haven't heard that. Let's see. I can look it up.
Yeah. Because I didn't think they actually did. I kept waiting to see if he was. I know he started the season, or he came off the PUP list before the season started, so he's never been on IR.
They did. They did put him on IR. They did put him on IR.
Okay, so he's not coming back then. So there we have some Wilson, Hufanga. We don't have Jimmy Ward. Who we got on the practice squad?
So they activated Kai Nakua. So Kai Nakua was activated and promoted to the active roster, from what I know. I think they promoted him this morning for the game. The look on your face, the look of sheer terror that we're one injury away from Kai Nakua on the field.
No, we got Tony Jefferson on the practice squad.
He's gonna get activated. You'd imagine.
Please, where is Ha? Where's Ha?
Hey, you know what? Ha might be getting a phone call right now, Ant. He might be getting a phone call.
Oh my gosh, the realization right now, because I didn't realize they put him on IR. I missed that.
I missed that they put him on IR, but I did see this morning Kai Nakua was activated. Jordan Matthews was activated for this game. And I think there was like one or two other guys that they kind of called up and activated.
Kai
Nakua, bro. Kai Nakua, look at his face. Woo. That was one of the best reactions. That might have been a better reaction, Ant, than both of our realizations that it wasn't Mac Jones on draft night.
Oh.
Because you remember the sheer look of just relief on our face when it was announced that it was Trey Lance and not Mac Jones. That was sheer terror that I just saw in your eyes. Haven't seen one of those in a long time. Ha is on the Raiders with COVID. So JLA, he's there. So I'm not coming to San Francisco. Not coming to San Francisco.
Well, bring Jared Maiden back.
Yeah, maybe. Ward out. How long's his BV? We don't know. We don't know what the extent of the quad injury is. It could just be a contusion. It could be, if it's a quad strain, that's not great. But Tom Compton switches to safety.
Isn't this the time that Dante Johnson does, right?
Oh, maybe, man.
We're like, hey, we've been missing this the whole time.
Hey. Who was Grant Cohn saying?
I'm forgetting though. Marcel Harris.
He could move back to safety.
If you're getting the other linebackers back, Marcel Harris making some plays at safety again.
True. He knows both spots.
I'll tell you, we'd have some hitters back there with Marcel and Hufanga.
True, but we have some.
We still have some
cover. I was gonna say you still got some coverage.
Now Hufanga's coverage has been a lot better. And Wilson was in Mooney's hip pocket on that last play.
Tavon Wilson.
I know I like him too.
I love Tavon Wilson.
But I'd be happy with Tony Jefferson too. So Tony Jefferson, welcome to the active roster.
That's happening.
Probably, unless Jimmy's good, then
It's true. Brad's saying it's a strain. I haven't seen a report yet. Okay. So if Kyle came out and said that in his post-game presser, Brad, then we appreciate that. Strain, that could be a few weeks. It could be a few weeks, and you're rolling young at safety.
Make the bad man.
Make the bad man stop, indeed, Ant. 100%. Wilson has been doing well in coverage, though. You got to remember, Wilson was starting in training camp.
He was
starting in training camp. So if you have to roll with Wilson and Talanoa Hufanga right now, it's not great, but here's the thing, right? You still have good run fits with your safeties coming down to the box to tackle in space with Wilson and with Talanoa Hufanga. The only thing you potentially lose is coverage in certain aspects.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of worried about like Zach Ertz one-on-one with Talanoa Hufanga or Tavon Wilson.
Yes.
But I'm not like crazy worried about those two guys. Those guys I'm actually somewhat confident in. I'm just worried if one of them goes down, because if I'm turning around and there's Kai Nakua, that's not a good. That's bad. Sorry.
You said not a good. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it was in the presser. Thanks, Brad. We appreciate it.
That was in the presser. Okay, so it's a strain. Brad, we really appreciate that. Breaking news for all you 49ers fans out there. But Ant, big W.
I know. I'm excited. I've been saying I just want to win. And I think it was this week on Know Your Opponent. It was all about he said it's better to get a ugly win than a beautiful loss.
Today was,
and that's
I don't even know if today was it fully ugly?
No.
It was ugly in the first half.
It wasn't even ugly in the first half. It was just rocky because you had the field goals. You were still converting on drives. Yeah, it was frustrating with Sly missing the field goal, missing the extra point, because the game could have been 13-12 at half. And you have those opportunities you got to convert. What it did, though, is show an emphasis, and I even tweeted this out. There's an emphasis now. Are you sure the kickers don't matter? Because there's been a people peddling that, right? Oh,
Robbie Gould, you got to move on from him.
Anyone can make those kicks. Apparently not. So it's like now there is an emphasis on how important Robbie Gould is to this football team. Anything under 50 yards, Robbie Gould's going to hit it. So that was a 48-yarder. Gould can hit it. If you want to talk about him not having the leg to go deeper than that, you're accurate. Anything over 55 yards, nothing from Robbie Gould. But you know what? He makes his extra points usually.
Well, here's
that kind of stuff.
Here's the thing, though, too, that you can do if you're the 49ers, right? And Robbie Gould's making a nice chunk of money, but you have the leg concerns, right? You can do what a team like the Baltimore Ravens did back when they had Stover, who was automatic. Same similar situation, automatic from inside 50. They went and drafted themselves a big-legged kicker, a young man who could hit from deep, but had some accuracy concerns. And I remember watching some of training camp stuff that was coming out, footage that was coming out of the kicking battle in Baltimore, and seeing Justin Tucker consistently hitting from like 62, 59 as a rookie in practices. And I was like, you don't need Stover. I mean, you'll live with it right now. You'll live with it if he's inconsistent. If he can consistently hit from 50 or 60, your offense just got, okay, guys, just get 10, 15 yards inside midfield. And we got a guy who's going to consistently make it. I mean, the Bills did that a couple seasons ago with Tyler Bass. Mm-hmm. They want the young guy who, big leg, big. If you're the 49ers, right, you can go draft yourself a kicker, a young guy with a big leg, and see what happens. Because worst case scenario, if he's not consistent from deep and not consistent from short, you stash him on the practice squad and call it a day. And you got Robbie Gould, who's automatic for a year while the kid develops. And best case scenario, the kid blows your mind out, and you can move off of Robbie Gould's big contract. I mean, the 49ers, it just makes sense. It makes sense for them to look at that. I know Jason Aponte and a lot of other of my confidants.
Jason Aponte does not enjoy the kicking game.
No, well, they're not people. You know, they're not people. They don't exist. You shouldn't be taking them in the 5th round, 3rd round, whatever. You should be drafting them wherever.
I somewhat agree with that. I don't agree with taking them before the 5th round.
Yep.
I'm on that. You don't take somebody earlier than that. Because I mean, think about Wishnowsky, right? We've agreed Wishnowsky is punting great this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely incredible.
Wishnowsky was a 4th round pick. You know what Wishnowsky didn't do today? Contribute to this football game.
True.
He didn't even step on the field.
It's true. Actually, that's not true.
He held kicks.
He held a lot of kicks.
But that's it. He didn't punt. I mean, which is great for the 49ers. There was no situations to punt, but 4th round pick, man.
It's true.
Yeah, 4th round pick.
I would agree with you in that sense, is that you put yourself in a position. That's with a punter, though. With a kicker, he's going to come on and have an impact at some point during the game.
Get someone that had an impact that was undrafted, 6th round, 7th round.
Hey, listen, if the Niners had gone after Evan McPherson this year, I was going to jump for joy because I thought the guy was absolutely phenomenal coming out of the University of Florida because it's kicker U.
Oh, God.
But it is kicker U.
I was going to say, I don't even know who this guy is, but now it makes sense. It's Florida.
He's University of Florida kicker U.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott, Pearson, man. There's like 2 other ones, too. I forget who they were because the Florida Gators were absolute trash.
That's Kicker University, yet the Florida State had a kicker come out of the 1st round.
Oh.
Sebastian Janikowski.
Ooh.
Yeah, how about you like them?
Good old Seabass, my guys. It's good old Seabass. Tracy Williams with the George Brittle comment,
Ooh.
LOL. All right.
Interesting, since he's coming back. It seems like somebody...
Hold on. Not wrong. He's never on the field. He's just never on the football field. And, Tracy, I mean, hats off to you for calling it like it is.
Sweet troll, dude.
Kyle Shanahan, you need to trade this guy. No point for him to be on the roster. He's never available anyway. Paid him all that money for no reason, Ant. All that money for no reason.
Yep.
Even though I was asking, saying that the Niners weren't going to be able to find a way to pay him. And then they paid him. And then, I changed my mind and decided that they should have paid him. And he's never healthy and never on the field. And they just need to get rid of him now.
Jittery G now. Oh,
he's Jittery G too. Oh, awesome.
Wow, creative.
It's really original. Really original. He rushed for 2 touchdowns, 300 plus yards passing.
Pretty comfortable in that pocket too.
Oh man, it looked like 2017 Jimmy to me.
It looks like he's using last week's jokes. He wasn't here for our chat, so he's bringing everything he used in somebody else's over.
It's true.
Congratulations.
And Megan's not wrong. TCC, hit the like button, and if you're not a member of the Cutback crew, hit the subscribe button as well. Graham Gano, it's an interesting name, indeed. Tapped in gentlemen, Jimmy played a great game today, as well as the rest of the team. Yes, this was a top-to-bottom team win. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. Would Sly be a good one to keep and work with? No. Joey Sly has shown consistently he's got accuracy issues from inside of 50. Well, it's inside of 50, outside of 50. But the problem is that Joey Sly, it's not like it's his first 2 years in the league, and this was There's a kicker that I'm thinking of that is on with the Vegas Raiders right now, not Oakland. Daniel Carlson is a perfect example of this. A guy who had a huge leg when he was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. They brought him in. He missed 2 potential game-winning field goals early in his career from inside of 40 for the Minnesota Vikings early in that season. And the Minnesota Vikings and kickers, there's a shoddy history. So as soon as he missed the first one, there were people calling for the rookie's head. He missed the second one, and people were like, this kid's got to go. They got him out of Minnesota, and now he's had nothing but success. Flimsy Ward, Jittery G, Mick Flinchy, George Brittle, Fire Lynch. All right, Tracy Williams.
Hey, welcome 49ers Twitter to the chat.
49ers Twitter made it to the 49ers cutback. Awesome.
Awesome.
Welcome.
I like that
Twitter.
I like that he took the time to think of all those, though. I think that's well done.
Flimsy Ward, Jittery G, Mick Flinchy. Mick Flinchy's actually it's clever.
It sounds like something that would, like a Halloween drink at McDonald's, a McFlinchy. Did you get the McFlinchy today?
Did you get McFlinchy that?
Yeah, I like it.
Bro, but hey, I've heard the McFlinchy, bro, gives you the flinches.
Yeah, that sounds pretty delicious, actually.
So good.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I guess I don't understand the McFlinchy nickname.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I like that, Tio. It's Phil Dawson in shape.
Ooh.
Bring that guy. For a while, he was automatic. Do you remember how automatic Akers was until, like, 2012?
Yeah,
So 2011, he couldn't miss. 2012, he couldn't hit.
No, that's true.
It was crazy.
He fell off quick.
Yeah.
He really did. Did you see the Wentz play from today? I missed it. Grant Kahn enters the room. Possibly. Heading home from the game in Vancouver. Great game, as all wins are.
Oh, nice, Gary. I hope you had a good time up in Vancouver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, but I mean, this was just wonderful. It was just glorious. It was just everything it needed to be.
Wins we need dubs. We need wins.
Oh, they're important right now for this football team. They
have a possibility to get to 500 next week. How about that? I like that.
Jeff Wilkins.
Ooh, we're getting way into the kickers now.
Seriously.
What about Joe Nedney? What's he up to? Can he get the old left leg loosened up?
Joe Nedney. I remember that too. Nedney was pretty fantastic. You know who wasn't fantastic though? Wade Ritchie.
Yeah, or Mike Kofer.
Oh, Mike Kofer. I try to block that one out.
Yeah.
Wade Ritchie, I just remember because I just loved calling him Wide Ritchie. Every time he'd step back to kick, I was like, oh, hey, here we go, Wide Ritchie, woo! Gonna be wide.
Give me Ray Wershing every single day of the week. I'll take Ray Wershing.
Ray Wershing was pretty phenomenal, man. He was pretty fantastic. Jose Cortez. Frank here, this is a good point. Arizona and the Rams win these 2 division games. And a new subscriber, a new member of the Cutback Group, Mr. Keith Johnston.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome to the Cutback Group.
Appreciate the subscription.
Absolutely. We cannot thank you enough for it. Indy and Tennessee went into overtime. Tennessee came out with the win, but Tannehill out with a possible injury. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
That's not good from them. Norman should still be working at Walmart Tommy Huxley.
You know, Tommy, we say that, though, but he got 2 footballs that got loose from offensive players and ended up with an interception to seal the game. Yeah,
he's the only one that's consistently creating turnovers each and every week.
Yeah, so you're gonna have these opportunities, right, where he's gonna have holding calls, he's gonna have illegal contact, that kind of stuff. But in the same regard, he's creating turnover opportunities, which benefit your team in a big way. The real struggle is in run fits. He's not very good in run fits. Last week he was terrible. This week he was just okay.
Yeah.
So he's got to clean up some of that area, but he does give you potential turnover plays that change the game. So it's a catch-22, I think.
So Luke Luna is saying, at 49ers Cutback, Kyler likely won't play versus us. Let's see how they play us without their starter. If that's true, it's a huge break for San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. If he's not playing,
that's huge. What
was wrong with him? I know he stayed down. I know he was kind of nursing something, but I didn't know what
it might still be. It might be shoulder stuff. It seems like all year. And when I talked with Evan on this on Quest for the West. He said all season long, since preseason, when he's taking shots and throwing,
but he was limping,
working on his thing. So maybe it's a lower leg
on Thursday.
Thing.
That's why I was asking, because we knew the shoulder thing. I watched Quest for the West. So
that's true.
I know what's going on.
You're on the channel. I would be, if you weren't watching the stuff that we're putting out,
you'd be kind of upset.
I'd want some concerns,
Yeah.
Questions.
Right. If I'm not consuming it, then why would anyone else consume it?
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's
Now, I said this on Patreon, and I'm going to double down right now.
So it's an ankle sprain that could be a 1 to 3 week issue. The only question I have, they're not saying, well, maybe
and
the
they
article.
did play Thursday, so he has a little bit more time.
He does have a little bit more time. They're not saying, though, if this is a low or a high ankle sprain that I'm seeing. So I'm going to go.
3 would be low.
I would imagine so. So I'm going to go through this and try and confirm what exactly it is.
Luke Luna with the super chat says sprained ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Brad Jones, ankle sprain. SG Sports Talk Channel says thoughts on Norman. Yeah, we just kind of talked about that a little bit. What we're discussing is Norman is kind of a catch-22. Right now, he's giving up some plays, and he's getting a lot of like hand check. He's hooking people, he's holding people, illegal contact. Those things are going to come with him. He knows what his weaknesses are. He needs to be grabby. That's the way he's going to be able to stay with these guys. But in the same regard, the fumble on the ground got recovered. He knocked the ball away from another running back. That guy barely got it back. Then you get the interception at the end of the game. Those are potential opportunities the 49ers need from this defense. So if he can clean up a couple other areas and then still produce these turnover opportunities for the 49ers, I think he's somebody you need out there. So let's see what happens over the next few weeks and see but right now he's the best option at corner because it wasn't like Mosley was tearing it up today either. So right now I think Norman's our guy. Let's just see how, see if we can take advantage of those situations.
So Red Eye is clarifying. He's saying 2 to 4 weeks left ankle medial sprain is what he's saying.
Okay,
so
thanks, Red Eye. I appreciate that.
That's going to be lower half of that ankle. Those aren't as serious. Do I truly believe that Kyler Murray is going to be out for this football game? No, I don't. But if the Arizona Cardinals are worried about shots, right, and the O-line holding up, especially with there being some issues there with the center position, a lot of high snaps consistently since Houston went out with his injury, or Hudson, went out with his injury, then they may rest him. They may rest him this week, right? It is what it is. We're still 7-1. Even if you lose to San Francisco, you're 7-2. You're still in control of your own fate in the division for the most part.
Yeah, because you'll just be tied with the Rams.
You're just tied with the Rams most likely, and you get yourself 1 week closer to getting Kyler healthy, and their bye is still a few weeks out. I mean, they still have games that have to be played. They're not healthy at the right time. Megan just said Jameis Winston down with an injury on the field for the Saints. That's not good. That's awful. He's been playing solid for that team all season long. But this is what we've been saying, right? The 49ers have been taking a lot of lumps very early in this football season and have been extremely competitive and really, really ridiculously close to coming out with wins. This team might be getting healthy at the right time as other teams start getting unhealthy late in the football season. It's not about necessarily getting out to a huge lead in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And running away with the division and running away with the 1 seed. It's all about playing the right football at the right time. That's all it's about.
A couple funny things. Number one, Chauncey, welcome back. And he said, give me a break. I got a Kit Kat bar ready for you. I told you, the 49ers win. We're giving out candy bars around at my house. So if you're around, come by. I'll give you a candy bar. That's number one.
True, king size.
King size. Well, it wasn't king size. It was full size.
That was full size. You're right.
Second, David Campbell, you were right. Those are not high snaps.
I did say this last week on one of them. I literally said, "Hey, if that's literally Aaron Rodgers, that's a normal snap at his shoulder. Kyler Murray, it's above his head. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate." Chad had mentioned earlier. I hope Kyler is healthy to be the best. You got to beat the best. Don't want no pass. I 100% agree with you, Chad. I hope that he's healthy I hope that he's healthy for his own sake.
Who said that?
Chad did. Chad Tamiyasu.
Okay.
Tamiyasu.
Thank you.
I want Kyler to be healthy. However, if Kyler's not playing, I am not going to say, man, I really wish Kyler Murray was playing for that football team. No, I wish that Kyler Murray wasn't playing for their football team because the 49ers have an advantage. That's a win. We get ourselves to 500. We're that much closer to making the playoffs.
No team is at their best.
Correct.
The 49ers have a lot of weaknesses because of health. Because of health, of injuries. Arizona is losing J.J. Watt probably for the season. He's out.
100. Dude, if J.J. Watt somehow plays this season, there needs to be 1,000 tests on what that man's taking because he's got 4 muscles that have torn off the bone. Bicep. What was it?
Bicep, pectoral. He tore labrum.
Pec, labrum, and supraspinatus is what I saw on the report because we're part of the rotator cuff.
Yeah.
So I imagine based on everything else that they're talking about, labrum, you're talking about bicep, pectoral muscle. The next logical thing is your supraspinatus out there on the outside exterior of the shoulder. That's 4 muscles potentially that are off the bone. No, there's no way. There's no way you can come back this year.
And Chauncey, we were contenders before we beat the bad Bears team. Still in the mix of it. They were 1 game out of the playoffs. So.
And had lost every game with the exception of the Colts game by a single score. And if you watch the Colts game, then you know that game was a lot closer than the score indicates, right? You lose by 12 points. that was really a one-score game for almost the entirety of the football game. The 49ers were in that game for 4 quarters. So, I mean, again, we've been saying this for what feels like months now with this team. They were one play away, right, from turning losses into wins and being a team that could be potentially undefeated or maybe only sitting with 1 loss on the football season. Well, they just turned some of those plays right into the plays they needed to this week and came out of this with a big fat W, and maybe they've got it dialed in. Jayla, you're not wrong. Yikes are incoming. The yikes are going to be everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Spoiler, Matt Mayoko, welcome to Big Yikes.
Yeah!
But
do you think,
I see BB said 1 pound bars. Oh,
I don't know about 1 pound bars.
I don't know how much money you think I have here.
I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know either. Basking in the afterglow, the greatest part of being a fan tomorrow, I'll be thinking about next week. Yes, but don't be thinking too far ahead because we got a lot of great content for you tomorrow. You got a game recapping this game in depth, right? We're going to have ourselves a wonderful, fantastical 49ers face-off with Jay Hill, and then one of the best shows on Patreon, and one of our most favorite things that we do on the channel, Big Yikes. That's going to be loads of fun. You know it's going to be, because whether it's Hack Jammer or whether it's Thanos, whether it's Matt Mayoko, there are a lot of 49ers fans saying silly things after this one.
Yes, T.O. That jersey, I'll bring it out. It's ready.
Okay, I like it.
It's ready. If the 49ers win next week, 100%, I will do the show next week in the Jalen Hurd.
Chauncey, there's a difference between the Lions being contenders, right? What have the Lions? Yes, the Lions have 6 games where they lost by 1 score, but they also have 2 blowout losses, including today's to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, there was no logic in the question, so I'm not even going to give it an answer.
Just saying, it's just one of those things where I just
Yep, Jay Ellie, that's it.
Make sure Jay Hill gets the yellow triangle behind him, Alex. Okay, we'll do. I'll talk to the editor. I'll do the best that I can. Do the best that I possibly
can. Make it so.
I'll do the best that I can. I'm still in for Hurd. When is Hurd coming back? Says Megan. We don't know yet.
Don't know.
We really don't know.
Frank loves Hurd.
I love Hurd too. Brad Jones, Seahawks dynasty not over yet, leading the Jags 17-0. I don't really know how impressive that is. I'm not sure.
Think about it, you thought we were all going to go with Jacksonville.
I was convinced y'all were going with Jacksonville. I was convinced, man. I was like, yeah, they're coming off a bye, big win in London. Cutback crew is going to go. Well, here's the thing. I wasn't wrong about the Cutback crew. The Cutback crew has been kind of 50. They're 50. That poll when we did it was 51% for the Jags. It's 50-50 now, and it's held 50-50 throughout the week. Cutback crew's not convinced. So even though it is 17-0 Jackson, 17-0 Seattle right now, you know, the Cutback crew, at least 50% of them are holding out hope that the Jacksonville Jaguars can come back into that football game. It's not looking like it though. That's for sure.
Yeah, who was it? Steve's that picked the Packers?
Yes.
Yeah. So Steve's got the win. Steve's is he on track for 4-0 this week?
He is. He's on track for 4-0, man. He's on track for 4-0. Steve's going to put together a 4-0 week. Get one game closer.
You know what? It's his day. Halloween.
That's why. That's why. By the way, did you see his tweet the other day on Saturday, where he finally got his Michael Myers mask in? It's him sitting at the table with the Happy Halloween coffee mug, clearing your head before your big day, before your biggest work day of the year for Michael Myers on Halloween. That was glorious.
Have you ever seen his off day video?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's absolutely phenomenal. Brad says, "What beat reporters do you guys like?" Listen, I don't hate all beat reporters, and there's a lot of people that put stuff out. Schefter has usually done a really great job of reporting stuff that's come out. Who's Spreadsheet? Why am I blanking on Spreadsheet's name?
Oh, you're talking about David Lombardi.
David Lombardi does typically a good job, but there's also things that David Lombardi puts out there sometimes where I'm just like, I want to drop kick you. Can't believe you just said that.
Well,
no.
I never had a problem with Mayoko until recently.
Yeah.
He decided to take a trip down negative town, and he's rolling in it pretty deep. And before, I used to think he just told the truth. No matter if it was positive or negative, he was just a truth teller. But when you start making statements, that like talking bad about the players, that's not actual football based, but with some hyperbole, I'm just like, sensationalizing things just doesn't work for me.
No, the minute you start doing stuff like that is where I kind of start checking out.
I know. And then Frank said, he's got my Herd card. Of course, it's not the best herd card. It's the worst herd card,
It's
but
still
herd. I love it.
Still a herd.
Absolutely love it.
Still a herd rookie card, my guy. He needs to not show his face or talk during all his segments.
How did Kinlaw today?
I don't even know what that is. That even a question? How did Kinlaw today? How did he sleep? How did he eat? How did he feel? How did his recovery come in along? I mean, there's a lot of ways that question could be formed. Chauncey, you should probably work on the spelling.
Chauncey's not wrong about Grant Cohn, maddest beat reporter ever.
That's true. That's true.
Cam Inman, good one, actually. Yeah, I actually do enjoy. I actually don't hate on most of them. I actually read a lot of the different beat reporter stuff. Most of them I have zero problems with what they're reporting. The only time I have a problem with it is when they take like a complete negative spin on it and start making statements like, like somebody's not understanding what is actually happening in the play and then commenting on it and just making it completely over the top.
Or people taking the Brandon Aiyuk situation, right, and putting, basically making this a Kyle Shanahan problem in which Kyle Shanahan's not giving this kid opportunities and giving him chances. When the reality of the situation is when you watch the All-22 film, Brandon Aiyuk is wide open at times and not getting the football. And it's not because you have Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance going to other areas of the field. It's either A, they miss him, B, they're getting sacked at the time that it's happening, or C, they're not able to get a pass off. They have to throw the ball away. They have to scramble because someone made a mistake somewhere else. And then we're watching the film, right, and you got the one-on-one situations where this is obvious a shot that could go to Brandon Aiyuk, and Brandon just doesn't win, and it's like, okay, well, you want him to just throw it? You want him to just throw it at him and get a pick or whatever? Today was a perfect example of it. They gave him a lot of opportunities and a lot of chances. He won a good chunk of time. He won on a vertical route for the first time all year that Jimmy just misses him on. He toasts a guy in the red zone, winning out in space one-on-one, redirecting a route when Jimmy scrambles for the big gain. Brandon did what he was supposed to do today, and he's getting himself closer and closer to being the guy that we all want him and expect him to be. And Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have been putting it out there that he's been working through the struggles. He's slowly becoming the Brandon Aiyuk that we all know and love. And I'm glad I started him in fantasy football this week. Thank you, Anthony.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's what I'm here for.
I'm a boy. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Frank says Jordan Elliott. Good old Splash Cousins.
Is that Splash Cousin?
Good old Splash Cousins.
Yeah, we've been near Splash Cousin.
We've been near him. Sometimes he makes big splashes. Other times, big flops. Happens. That happens. Hey, when you're putting takes out there, right?
Not all of them are going to hit.
No, not all of your takes are going to hit, right?
And I think a lot of his, though, are realistic. They're not like a completely outlandish or over the top. So, I mean, there's always some things you're not going to agree with everyone on, but I don't think he does a bad job by any means.
No,
even I know he's not a beat writer, but like I like Jason Aponte. For the most part, what he puts out, I enjoy listening to, and I think he does a pretty good job. So.
I agreed with Jason Aponte on Mitch Wishnowsky up until him and I had a similar frustration. I wasn't upset that the Niners drafted him when they drafted him.
Right.
I was upset that the guy couldn't flip the field, and that was one of his big things, right? Well, this guy doesn't have enough of an impact on the game for him to have been worth the pick that he was worth. I was just like, this dude needs to develop, or we got to find ourselves a new punter. Him and I had a similar take, differed in terms of like execution of the take, and both of us ended up being wrong, and I'm very happy about it. Mitch Wishnowsky is now Mitch Wishnowsky. He's a new guy. He's a new man, and the special teams has thrived because of it.
Yeah, and Chad, you were right, 100%. Anyone with a good winning record, I want people to win with a high win record. So I want, if you're winning your division, I want you to keep winning.
I think he's talking
minus Arizona.
I think he's talking about other teams, not the 49ers.
I know,
not in the NFC West.
I'm talking in the NFC in general.
Oh, yeah.
I want everyone that, if you're Tampa Bay, I hope you win out. I don't really care. Green Bay, I hope you win out.
Yeah.
Because I want them to beat Minnesota. I want them to beat the Saints. I want them to beat Carolina, because then the 49ers can work their way back up. When the chances of them winning the division are not very good. Their chances of making the playoffs and getting a 6, 7, even a 5 seed are possible. So,
true.
All those teams keep beating up, mucking up that middle, so the 49ers can keep moving up, because the 49ers now have, I believe, 3 NFC victories.
True.
So it does pay dividends as far as tiebreakers.
It does. It 100% does, man. And the Niners just need to keep grinding. They just need to keep moving in the right direction, and things are going to be just fine. Jason has a grounded take on things for the most part. I do like Aponte. Aponte started off for me as someone I didn't enjoy watching. I thought he was over the top, but he has recently, I'd say with basically this season, for most of the season, he has been very grounded in what he does. He's been very honest about what he does, reasonable with his stuff. And while I don't necessarily see the things the same way he does, I understand where he's coming from.
Oh, 100%.
And for me and you both, that's where it is. Like with all of this with this team, we know that not everyone is going to see these things the same way, but we are going to. We do want people to at least have a rational basis for where they're at, because it's easier to have a conversation and know where people are coming from, and what you're thinking, if there's at least a reasonable foundation.
How much does Robbie Gould make next year? I seen Chauncey said 5.8. Chauncey, is that really how much he makes? 5.8. For some reason, I thought I had read this week that he makes $4 million.
Let's see.
And that if they cut him or moved on from him, they would, have 1.5 that hit the cap. But I do not remember it being 5.8.
I will pull up the exact numbers.
Okay, I appreciate that, because 5.8 seems like a lot of money for a kicker. But in the same regard, if Robbie Gould would have converted on those 2 opportunities today and added 4 extra points, that is a big difference in the game. 4 points is a lot.
True. So, his cap number next year, guaranteed salary is $4 million. He has a prorated bonus of 1.5, base salary of 4. So his cap number next year is officially 5.5.
Okay.
5.5. Not. Did he say 5.8?
He said 5.8, but that's pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It's a little bit lower. It's 5.5. If you cut him, you don't actually save any money.
Okay, because I thought this cap hit was 1.5 million if they cut him. And maybe it's a post June 1 cut.
Dead money is 5.5 if you cut him.
Okay, so he's not going anywhere. He's playing for the 49ers next year.
100%.
Okay. Well, then that solves that.
If you trade him, it's different.
Okay.
A trade gives you 1.5 million in dead money and you save 4. That's pre-June 1st.
So that's what they were talking about. Then they're talking about trading him.
If you post June 1st trade him, it's the same thing. Same money situation. If you trade Robbie Gould, 1.5. So a Robbie Gould trade scenario is likely if the 49ers want to free up $4 million in cap space, but it will not be a cut. It would be a trade.
Okay. And then Frank, yeah, that's what I listen to too. 49ers Cutback, John Chapman and his Rush podcast, David Lombardi. And yeah, I listen to SF Niners sometimes with Jordan Elliott. That's true.
With Jordan Elliott, with Brad. I like me some Brad. Brad usually very. He's got the playing experience too. He played in college, so he does have a little bit of an understanding of the game at a level that is higher than some people, and
which doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter, but it can help. It definitely can help.
Sure, I'm sure it helped Mike McDaniel get to the NFL.
Technically, not accurate, not inaccurate.
Yeah,
not inaccurate. Well, there's always exceptions to the rule. Just because you played,
I think it helps you get a foundation. It does help your learning curve or whatever.
Especially if you had good coaching. If you had really good coaching at that level, at that high level, then you have a very big step above everybody else, because maybe you weren't the most talented player, or maybe you didn't play a whole lot at that level. But if you got good instruction, good film analysis, breakdown, how to put together a game plan, what execution needs to look like, the things you're looking at on film to try and establish a game plan, how to attack, understanding a team's schemes and an opponent's schemes. I had a really good coach in high school that gave me that foundation, man. My junior year of high school with Coach Collins.
Yeah.
The film analysis that he had and he gave.
Later, Chad.
He gave me that foundation to be like, whoa, like I felt like I had a heads up over everybody else because of the way he broke down film, and it carried into every aspect of sports and every aspect of coaching for me. You can get that at any level, though. It doesn't have to necessarily be just college. It can be high school. It could be Pop Warner, or wherever it is. It could just be, you could not play at all, right? And just
as long as you want to learn.
Exactly.
Go learn it. Go learn the game. Go study it. There's plenty of clinics and stuff where you can go learn from great coaches. All you have to do is have the mentality for it. I don't think you have to. Playing doesn't have to be a prerequisite for it. Coaching doesn't have to be a prerequisite for it.
Chauncey, how surprised would you guys be if we got D. Watson? Why would we?
I would be shocked at this point, because I don't think
it happens.
Well, I don't think the NFL is going to let it happen, right? Because there's been a couple of times where this looks like it's going to be apparent, and I think the NFL is still taking a wait and see approach, because he does have some criminal cases against him now. The NFL is doing an investigation.
There were a couple that came up just recently, right?
Yeah. Well, he tried to. From my understanding, I don't want to get too far into it, but my understanding is they tried to settle, and he wanted to reach settlements, and then we're going to have like a non-disclosure about the whole thing. and a few, I think it was like maybe 6, went the criminal route, and now they're trying to do that. I think they're trying to put more pressure on him. They're wanting him to put. They don't want there to be a non-disclosure, because then they can't write books, they can't talk about it, they can't make extra money, they can't do interviews. So they don't want that in there. So it's all that waiting game and push for that.
So then, yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if Deshaun Watson goes anywhere. T.O., this is great. Just take delay of game penalties past the 50-yard line and Sly's good. That's solid.
Yeah, I like that. One thing when you were talking about the extra points, we were talking about extra points. One thing I would say is when's an NFL team going to look at the analytics and say it might be more worth it to go for 2 points every time? If you execute, this was my thought process, you know how I coached, was if I execute 2-point conversions 51% of the time, I'm going to get more points than I would kicking an extra point every single time. But I'm just waiting. I'm curious which NFL team finally goes with that, because you practice that so much that at some point you're like, you know what, I can scheme this up to where we get 2-point conversions pretty consistently. And if you're able to get it at like a 60% level, you could really dominate.
Think if you're the 49ers too, right? You got $5 million tied up. And a guy like Robbie Gould, you paid him essentially the last 3 years of his deal. You have paid him $11 million for 3 years. That's a position player late in his career that could add something to your roster, offense or defense, for $11 million that you can keep on the roster.
Right, but you still need a field goal kicker because you're going to need field goals.
Draft a rookie.
You could. I mean, you could definitely go young, somebody that can, kick field goals. But yeah, maybe extra points are
true. Maybe that's a route that's going to be happening. Who knows?
I wonder when we get a guy that can do punting and kicking.
If Pat McAfee had his way, it would have been him.
Because if you could get a guy that could do punting and kicking, and then now you can only have one roster spot.
Well, now you just need a holder. Who holds?
Backup quarterback. Joe Montana used to hold.
It's true.
1981 Super Bowl. Montana's holding for Wershing, and he's the starter.
It's true.
It used to happen all the time.
It's true.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Hey, Ant, did you know that through the first 4 years of an NFL coaching career, that Kyle Shanahan has more wins than Bill Walsh? Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but both of them took over absolutely
terrible teams,
awful teams, so it makes sense.
Did you know that the 49ers in Kyle Shanahan's third year went to a Super Bowl and lost to a really good Kansas City Chiefs team? And in his third season, right, Bill Walsh took the 49ers and won a Super Bowl. And then immediately the next season turned around and both finished 11th in the NFC and missed the playoffs.
Yeah, that I was aware of.
Yeah. And it's funny. It's two coaches taking very, very similar paths. And the fan base having no patience.
Well, to be honest with you,
they didn't have
in the 80s. It was Eddie DeBartolo that was losing patience with Bill Walsh.
It's true,
because he wanted to win continuously, and he fired Bill Walsh many times.
Yeah,
privately, and then rehired him. Because Carmen Policy used to have to be the one that went and fired him.
Yeah,
after a while.
the fan base is the one calling for the firings now.
Well, we didn't know that back then because all you had was beat writers. You didn't have social media.
Do you mean to tell me that social media sometimes isn't always the best thing?
I think the fact you even had to say that.
The fact I even have to ask. Oh, man. No, I didn't hear anything that Belichick said.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. Chauncey, where can I hear that? Do you have like a link, or just tell me kind of where to find it? I'd love to listen to Belichick's thoughts on special teams.
Absolutely, that'd
100%.
be great. That'd be good. Bill always has some good insight, and it's usually a funny interview.
Well, and I just enjoy learning about football, so if I can learn more football from a really great coach, that sounds good to me.
True.
That's how I like spending my time.
Good time.
Lots of driving time. So
there is a lot of driving time.
Driving
with your work.
Boom. Put on some stuff. Let's go.
It's good stuff. Cutback crew. Look, we hope you enjoyed this reaction show. It was a lot of fun.
It was.
We definitely went over our time that we had allotted, but hey, it's okay. We had a good time. 49ers get a win. Everyone's feeling good. Everyone's feeling great. I know I am. I know Ant is. Maybe not the Thanoses of the world. Maybe not the Hack Jammers, but the faithful and the Cutback crew absolutely are. Chauncey, you can leave it in the comment section below this video and we'll both check it out. You can also head over to the Discord as well. I'll put a link to that right now in the comment section. You can send us a message in there or just put it in there as well. But look, a lot of ways for you to engage with us, whether that's Patreon, whether that's right here on YouTube, liking the video, all of our traditional podcast platforms as well, Spotify, Apple Pods, Google Pods, all of that good stuff. There's a lot of ways for you to engage with the 49ers Cutback, the Cutback crew, this incredible community. And Ant, the 49ers are 3-4. They're one game away from 500, and they're still, one game out of a playoff spot, technically?
Yeah, and we don't even know what's going to happen. I don't even know what happened with Minnesota.
I don't think they haven't played yet. They're playing right now.
That's who's in the 7th spot, and I'll let Frank's comments be the last thing that I say. Jimmy Garoppolo being played to his strengths for the season. Shanahan just needs to allow Jimmy free reign. Really is about the season. You're right. Jimmy Garoppolo playing a little bit free. Looks really good. Excellent comment as normal, Frank. That's why you get the final comment from me.
You definitely get the final comment from Mr. Ant there. Look, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a blast this week. We get to celebrate a 49ers win. We get to look forward to the 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals at home, looking for their first win at Levi's for the season in the 2021 campaign. Can't believe that I'm saying that, Ant, but it's okay because you know what, Ant? You know what time that it is?
It's time to chalk another one up.
That it is 9 a.m. face-off. We'll see you here tomorrow for that. Don't miss it.